It takes time. But we did our best. But there were all sorts of rumours going around about what but then soldiers have been trading government probably for years, you know, so there was nothing new in there. But we certainly gave them all the help we could. My only regret was that when we left our camp, we left it intact.
Really?
We wanted there was talk that we should knock the place down, you know, just because the Jews were obviously going to take it. But we didn't, and it was out of our hand. And I think most people were so disgusted with the whole business that they wanted to get out as quickly as possible, you know, go home. But they were seething with anger. Everybody, you know, on the boat home, the people in Palestine were all the same. You know, they didn't have a chance to vent their anger on the Jews.
Yeah.
And as I say, there were lots of incidents that I didn't witness or didn't know of at the time. I only heard about days later when soldiers were ambushed, patrols were shot at, you know. And I remember once I was on my motorbike and I was coming back from somewhere or other. I was going to get the mail every day from Sarafan, the cantonment, and there was several army lorries at the side of the road, and this bloke waved me down. You see, the soldier waved me down, an NCO he was, and I said, "What's up then?" He says, "It's an ambush. We're being ambushed." He says, "From the Orange Grove," and they were guards. Normally the guards don't talk to the other, you know, anyway, I got off my motorbike and I got in this ditch, and I said, all these guards were in the ditch, you see, and I said, what's going on, mate? He said, somebody fired at us from the Orange Grove who sent a patrol out, you see. I thought, well, it could have been an Arab sharpshooter because they could do that, you see, more likely a Jew though. Anyway, I sat in this ditch for a few minutes. I was only a few miles from camp. And I thought, well, if I don't get back in, I should miss tea break, you see. So I said to this NCO, I've had enough of this, I'm going. And I got on my motorbike and drove off, you see. They were still in the ditch. I don't know what they were doing. They were still in the ditch when I left. But there was comedy there as well, you know, as well as tragedy. It was amazing.
In all this, did you get any leave at all?
No.
Because, I mean...
nowhere to go. You couldn't travel, you see.
No, just not at all. Yeah. Because sort of earlier on people were going all over, weren't they? I mean, there was a nice leave place in Cyprus.
Well, we used to get trips to Egypt over the desert. I don't know why. I think it was just to get us out of the way, get us out give us a few day break. Yeah. And I used to go on all these trips for some reason. We'd have 2 trucks and about a dozen blokes, and we'd drive across the Sinai Desert. 350 miles of sand, most boring journey in the world, and we spend a few days in Port Said or El-Qantarah or one of the canal towns, excuse me, of a sip of tea. And then drive back again. But I remember we went over there once. On one occasion, and when you go to the canal at El-Qantarah and you cross this pontoon bridge, you see, which has to be the pontoon bridge, certainly shipping through a pontoon bridge, a temporary bridge, you know, one that you can move. And when we got to there, you turn left and drive along the road towards Tel-el-Kabir, which is the big Egyptian cantonment. And as we were driving along, we could see all these buildings, there could be bonfires in them. Big pools of smoke, you see. What's going on here, you see? When we got to Tel-el-Kabir, we found out why the place was under tight security. A cholera epidemic had broken out in the villages. And the fires we saw, the bodies being burned, you see. And so we had a little conference. We said, no, if you want to stay here, go back to Palestine. It's safer there. Anyway, we drove back to the canal the next day, and we were going to go back to Palestine, but the military police at the canal said, have you had an inoculation? And we said no. They said, well, you can't cross the canal until you've had an inoculation. And we had to go back to Tel-el-Kabir to get this cholera inoculation. And it was the most painful one I ever had. inoculations in those days were very crude and they were painful, but this one was the worst.
Oh.
It was awful. We felt dreadful. And we had one truck, I remember, a Bedford QL, and the other driver besides me was a chap called Miller, who actually lived at Marks Day, quite close to where I live, Colchester. And we had to drive this damn thing across the desert through the night, and they were all asleep in the back. And we were both in dreadful agony with this inoculation. So we relieved each other after about an hour each time, you see. Got to the other side, into the Negev area, and Beersheba, and hunkered down for the rest of the day. But that was the worst experience. That was worse than anything I experienced in Palestine.
It wasn't much of a leave.
Horror, yeah.
Because there were odd outbreaks, there weren't there, in Palestine as well, weren't there?
Not
while you were there.
We lived in the area was a malarial area, so in the summertime we had to sleep under mosquito nets.
Yeah.
But I never knew of anybody getting malaria, and certainly not cholera, because the army was very, very strict about cleanliness and hygiene, you know, for good reason. And I never knew of anything like that at all.
Yeah.
The worst that happened to me, I got a dose of tonsillitis while I was there. Spent a few days in the hospital, but by and large it was a fairly healthy existence. Apart from the time when you're getting blown up or, you know.
Can you tell me some more about your dispatch riding, your actual duties? You know, where were you going?
Well, I used to. The main purpose was to get the mail from the field post office.
Oh, right.
That was a daily trip, and from time to time I had to divert and take parcels, packages, letters, and that to other units. You see, sometimes in Tel-el-Kabir, and I was going to Tel-el-Kabir quite a lot with this motorbike, and I once went to the IC Farben building, which was a German IC Farben, a famous German chemical factory. But they were still functioning in Tel-el-Kabir at the time, and I forget what I went there for, but I parked the motorbike outside and went up the steps into it, and coming out, I thought the motorbike might be stolen, although we used to demobilise them, take the plug off.
Oh, right,
And I was always a bit apprehensive when you go into a building like that and come out, because word gets around, you know, there's a squaddy in there, you know, get them if you're lucky, you know. But I got away with that one all right. And I used to, as I said, we had towards the end of the time there, they definitely ordered me not to take the motorcycle out anymore, because a lot of dispatch riders were being attacked and they were putting wires across the road. And so the CO says, you're not to go out again. He says, order from headquarters, you know, you take a truck from now on. And so I used to take this 15 underweight truck, and then we got this, we had an incident in Tel-el-Kabir, which I kept to myself for many, many years, until I told my son about it about a few months ago. And I think he was horrified. I was in this truck with, there was a sergeant in the front, a regular army bloke, done 20 years, and I had about 4 escorts in the back. We were in Tel-el-Kabir. And I went to turn into off the road into another road, and there were two young Jewish men standing in the middle of the road talking, you see. And I couldn't get past them, so I gave a polite little, and they never paid any attention, you see. Now, we'd been warned by the authorities that one of their employees was to walk in front of a military vehicle or a police vehicle. And when it stopped, they would step out from outside and shoot the occupants, you see. So they said, be on your guard against this sort of thing. So the sergeant said to me, move him. So I moved him. There were 2 of them. One was facing me, one had his back to me. And I drove at him. The one facing me jumped out of the way. The other one wasn't so lucky, and I hit him. Bang. And he shot forward. And the last I saw of him, he was writhing on the ground. And I just drove around him, and we drove on. Never. That was that. Never. I don't know whether the sergeant reported it. No, I don't think so. It wouldn't have made any difference. I wouldn't have paid any attention.
No.
But that was the situation there. Then, you know, it was really, really nasty.
Yeah.
We hated each other.
Yeah.
but dispatch riding was quite good fun, except in the rainy season when it rained. It used to rain furiously for about 10 minutes, you know, and then the sun would come out and dry you off in about 2 minutes flat. You'd be steaming when you got. But as I said, when you're 19 or 20 years old, it's an adventure.
Yes.
You know, and
Yes.
I think I enjoyed it. We had I was driving the staff car at the end, and we had an officer there, Captain Davies. He's long dead now, so I can mention his name. And he'd been in Palestine in the First World War. He'd got an MC, a military cross. I don't know what he got it for, but it certainly wasn't for bravery, because he was. He used to make me. We used to drive. We were in Tel-el-Kabir one day, and he kept saying, "God, looking at all these people looking at him." He says, "They're all staring at us." He says, "Keep an eye. You watch that side, and I'll watch this side." He used to say, you know. He was a bundle of nerves, this bloke. You know, he's about 50 years old, you know, looking forward to his retirement, I think, and the last thing you want, you know, as a yellow officer.
Maybe he felt one war was enough.
He was a lovely old boy, but he was scared of and we drove all the time now. He was nudging me, he said, "Keep look at that one there. Don't look at him," he'd say. Good fun. He was a nice old boy, though. I don't know. I say he's long dead now, but he always used to. He was a chain smoker, and when he did that, he always used to say, "Shall I open up for you?" I said, "No thanks." You know, I didn't smoke very much. I smoked, but not very much. "No thanks." I said, "No, I don't want it." You see, he said, "Well, I'll light you one up." And he'd light 2 cigarettes, you see, and he'd pass one to me, and I had to go through the motions of puffing this damn thing and getting rid of it through the window, because you can't drive and smoke, and at least I didn't smoke all that much. But that was what he was like, you know. Most an officer like, I don't think the army authorities would approve of that, you know. And he all sat in the front. Normally they sat in the back, you see, but he all sat in the front and pestered the life out of me. But about watching it, look at that one over there. I don't like to look at him, he used to say. Mind you, he was probably right, but it wasn't very helpful.
No.
But it was good fun. It was a nice experience. I wouldn't have missed it for the world, not the army. It was a great I had a great time.